Hi, you've landed at Gather, Love, Thrive with me, your host, Danea Shanti. And here we're learning about following our intuition and listening to that deeper voice that's wise inside to help guide our lives. I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to New Thought Media Network and the lovely Reverend Brez, who has given me the opportunity to have my show on this platform. So you'll see the donation link scrolling across the bottom here. If you would give them some love and help grow and flourish this network and all the amazing things that happen here. And I have a quote: New Thought Media Network is sharing a vibration of love, positivity, and empowerment through a variety of media streams. That's what they stand for. So join me in blessing them with your abundance of love and green energy. With me today is the amazing Nathan Aswell, and I'm so happy you're joining me today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Nathan also has a Wednesday morning program in New Thought Media Network where he brings beautiful music that he writes. And I thought the best way for us to get a really yummy blessing is to start with you sharing one of your songs, if you would.
I'd be delighted. This is a song of mine called Be Still.
Mm.
And I thought it would be a nice way for us to start, just kind of really get into the energy of what we're co-creating today.
Yeah, I'm going to drop my eyes and drop in.
Mm-hmm. Stop, take a break, whatever can wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly in to your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. Like a seedling in the springtime, ripe and ready on its tree. Disconnect from all your worries and be free. Like a gently flowing river that surrenders to the sea. Empty out your expectations and just be. And breathe, contemplate. Let all the rest wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly in to your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. So stop, take a break, let all the rest wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly into your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. So stop and be still. Stop, be still. Stop.
Wow, that was exactly what I needed. So beautiful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I just want to invite you to tell us right now where we can get more of that. What's happening on Wednesdays and 12 Powers and original songs, and just sort of give us a directive.
Great. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 Mountain, I do a show. It's about 15 minutes long called Morning Musings. And it's what I do is I start off with a musing, a thought, and then a chant, a piece of music that I have created based on that thought, that musing, that idea. Then some shared silence, about a minute or two, and then I come back and play a little bit of the chant. And as of January of this year, I have been using the 12 powers from the Unity Church as inspiration for the chants every month.
Mm.
So this month we're in June. The power for this month is imagination. So this month I've been writing chants about imagination. And Reverend Brez, as you call him, I've never heard him called that, started carrying my show on the New Thought Media Network back in May, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, you can see me live every Wednesday. And I also have all of the morning musings on my website and on my YouTube channel. So
Oh, awesome.
my website is nathanaswell.com. Just make sure you spell Nathan with an E.
With an E. This is
And
important because if people don't use an E, they won't find you.
That's right.
Yeah, we've had to learn that. What do you call Rev Brez?
What do I call him? His full name, I guess. I just don't shorten it.
Oh, I see. Okay, fun. Learning curves everywhere. Well, into the realm of imagination.
I'm Canadian. I'm just too polite.
He told me, call me Rev Brez. I'm like, okay. Pray things out. Okay. Let's jump in here and play with the hero formula.
Sure.
We had a beautiful meeting together about a month or so back, and I introduced you to the idea of the hero formula, and you shared the amazing story with me of your walk on the El Camino. Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of converge those two things together. So for those who are watching for the first time, just going to put my attention this way for a minute. The hero formula was given to me through meditation as a way to help people really drop inside and learn how to ask for help from the divine and how to receive that help, and then how to navigate their lives by their divine intelligence within. And so sometimes even folks like yourself who are so self-resourced to begin with, sometimes there's a little breakthrough still waiting for us when we turn within, right? Because spirit sees all, and sometimes we're like the turtle with our nose against the rock saying, help me! Help! I do that a lot. So that's the hero formula, and Nathan and I are now going to play with that a little bit. So I'm just going to take you through the steps, and I know we're probably going to zero in on one or two more particularly, but let's go ahead and dive in. So the first step is, who are you at the time, and what at the time is referring to as a predicament or a challenge or something you feel like you need an insight or solution on. Mm-hmm. So you probably already have something on your mind that you want us to play with today. So who are you at the time of that challenge or predicament, or if it's happening now, who are you in relationship to it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the answer that I would like to give, because it really, the moment I want to speak about really does feel like one of those before and after moments where everything in your life changes.
Yeah.
So I made a decision in April of 2019 to walk the Camino. And for those who don't know, the Camino is, well, actually, there are several Caminos, but the most prominent one, the Caminos are all religious or sacred pilgrimage routes across Spain. And the one that most of us know, of course, is the one that was depicted in the movie with Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez called The Way. It's the French Camino. It's about 775 kilometers or about 500 miles long.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was on my bucket list for a few years. And interestingly, I was visiting my mom in April of 2019. We were watching Castaway with
Oh, yes.
Tom Hanks. And I'd seen the movie before, but there was something about seeing it again. And what really stuck with me was, wow, the only time we have is now. Because,
Yeah.
1 minute he's a FedEx executive, and the next minute he's on this island for 4 years. He comes back and everything has changed, because of that one moment.
Yeah.
And I thought, it just made me think about the Camino again. And I thought, if the only moment is now, what am I waiting for?
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm going to walk the Camino. And walking the Camino was my birthday present in 2019.
Mhm.
I left on my birthday.
Mm.
And I was scared. Where on earth am I going to get the money to do this? Walking across a foreign country. I don't know the language. I don't, just fear after fear after fear surfaced. And long story short, so where was I at the time? I was someone who was, what ended up becoming, well, has even more importance as the story unfolds. But like most people, I guess, I very much inherited limiting thinking,
Mhm.
lack mentality.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so there's a point on the Camino where you can leave something behind.
Yeah.
And so that was my intention before I left. I will leave that behind. Of course, I didn't do that entirely, but it's that pattern, that way of thinking, got a big wallop,
Yeah.
got a big smash upside the head because of
Yeah.
that experience, which transformed me and then led to other things that I will share as we go through the hero's journey.
Yeah. So the I call it the universal baseball bat on the head. It's like you're not getting it, clock. So let me reframe for a moment. In the sequence, who you are at the time is a person who's taken a spiritual pilgrimage, who has chosen to leave your fears behind to the best of your human condition at the moment and on sacred land, and then went through a transformation while on the El Camino due to that prayer.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to just bring you forward to this moment so we can get a picture.
Yep.
You said not that you didn't lose the lack thinking completely, and I believe that's part of our human experiencing. As long as we're in a body, we have thoughts of limitation.
Yep.
So who are you now at this time relative to that moment and what you want to work with today? How would you name yourself succinctly?
Succinctly, well, wonderful question. Basically, my heart got blown open.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened, and I found the love of my life. So that was the greatest gift of the Camino. That's what I came out of it. And of course, everything. I'm a very firm believer that everything in our experience is a mirror of what's going on inside. So for me to attract this incredible being into my life,
Who
I
is
must have
your
done
wife,
something right.
right?
Sorry?
Your wife.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim is her name.
Yeah, Kim.
So, yeah, as you said, that work is never over.
Right.
And so it's a reminder of, yeah, okay, right, there it is again. Just this sort of, you talk about the, the universal baseball bat. The image, the story that I like to share is Oprah Winfrey. She uses the phrase "listening to life's whispers."
Mm-hmm.
We're getting whispers all the time.
Yeah.
If we don't heed the whispers, the volume gets turned up, and then it becomes a thump on the side of the head.
Yeah.
You don't heed the thump; it becomes a brick. If you don't heed the brick, then the whole wall eventually comes down.
Yeah.
So I'm trying as much as possible to catch things at the whisper level. Every once in a while, things have to get a little louder for me to get it. But I'd say my batting average is better, much
Yeah.
better than it was.
Okay, so who you are at the time is someone who is aware that you're intending on listening and hearing a little sooner than later towards old limiting patterns so that they don't really, I'm putting words in your mouth now, so that they don't really take over your reality and your perceptions. So then what's ripe right now? Like when you really tune in, what is the predicament or the challenge right now that you as this person right now are in touch with?
What comes to mind when you ask me that is, uh, I'm thinking of a friend of mine who has this wonderful expression that she shares often, and I'm thinking right now in our a phrase to describe our humanness: "Aren't we adorable?" Specifically, we keep forgetting.
Yeah.
We know what the truth is. We keep remembering, and we keep forgetting.
Mhm.
I had this powerful experience. I got it, and something very powerful happened, and I'm still forgetting.
So the predicament at this moment is really just the habit of forgetting, right? Like you clearly got it, you embodied it, you manifested, or spirit brought kin to you, and all the other abundance, and you notice that the predicament is, you lapse in and out of forgetting. Remember, forget, remember, forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, just bringing that to my awareness with gentleness and
Yeah.
just, you know, trying to constantly improve my batting average.
Yeah. Yeah. And no judgment. You know, we're in human bodies. That's what
Yeah.
we
Oh,
do.
look at that. I fell down again. Isn't that interesting?
Aren't that adorable? Okay, so step 3 is asking the universe for help.
Mhm.
And so what I've been doing with my guests is literally doing that together right on the show. So if you feel comfortable with that, what I want to do is invite you in your own way to open as wide as you can and to ask whatever's true for you. I say ask the universe for help. Sometimes it's God, it's the God spark, could be whatever you choose to say it. And then you're asking for help for this particular kind of habit of forgetting that arises now and then. And you can ask for help with that silently within or speak your words out loud with us, whatever feels good to you. And we're just going to hold space with you.
Okay. I'll speak it out loud.
Okay.
The 2 phrases that I use to describe that energy are infinite source or perfect love. So in the name of that energy, that source that is all, with humility and vulnerability, I ask for help. Specifically, I ask for the help to move more deeply into the truth that there is no lack, that lack is just a concept, a construct, and that the reality is abundance is everywhere and on every level of my being and everyone else's being. May I remember that more and more easily. May I be helped to remember that more and more easily in every moment with ease and grace and joy.
Beautiful. I'm going to invite you to stay right where you are. And the next step is listening. Listening to what spirit has to say, because we have ideas in our minds of answers, but when we really drop all preconceptions and listen to how the guidance comes forward, sometimes there's some revealing things there that are different than what we could conceive of. So dropping into the listening now for your guidance and just being wide open, innocent, curious beingness, and see what comes. See what happens. Sometimes it's words, sometimes it's sensations. Just see what happens. And then if you would share that with us too.
I just got it's a beautiful day here. It's very sunny outside, and I just suddenly got this image of sunshine inside and just this voice kind of laughing and saying, "You got this."
And how does that feel, that laughter coming in and the radiance and the voice of you've got this? How do you feel that as different than your personality? This is such a key piece for people who are afraid to trust and listen.
Yeah. Well, my challenge for sure is that I spend too much time in my head. I'm a great worrier.
Mhm.
I worrying is a fine art for me. And so, yeah, in the clearest moments, the message I get is, "What are you worrying about? Everything's it's all going on. It's all here. It's all fine. There is no lack.
Yeah.
You are loved. You are cared for.
Mhm.
Every step, you know."
How does that feel in your body?
Hmm. Oh yeah, just feel a softening, a relaxing, a little bit of an opening in my chest.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. The next step is choices. And this is important because we are the embodied divine, and we have free will. So we're always at choice. And I encourage people all the time to recognize the guidance offered them by their own divine intelligence is an offering, not a law, not a directive. It's here's an offer of insight and guidance for your consideration, oh human being. And then we're at choice. So I'm curious if you choose to believe what came, if you choose to consider it, maybe not, or have a different spin on it, what happens when you come to the next step of choosing from what your guidance has offered? What happens in you right now?
Well, again, I'm thinking about a moment on the Camino where, people wonder why you do that, what your motivation is for doing that. And I thought, okay, so is it going to be, the clouds parting and God himself appearing and pointing with his finger and saying, "Nathan, this is what must happen"? Or is it going to be a deepening of what's already been going on?
Yeah.
And so I bring that up because what I realized on the Camino is it was second. And that's what I'm feeling in this moment too. To say in another way, I very much like the image of the spiral.
Hmm.
The same lessons keep coming around, and
Yes.
whichever way we like to think of it as the spiral expanding or coming into core, whichever way works, we come back to the same place, and
Hmm.
yet we're at another point in the spiral. So there's more of an awareness when we come back to that place.
Yeah.
So here I am now, two years after that experience with you, and thinking, yeah, here it is again, and here it is again, and it's a little deeper now. It's going in a little more now, isn't it, than it did last time?
Hmm. Hmm. Beautiful. That's beautiful. We tend to soften every time we get it more deeply in our bodies. Then we soften and relax more. And that's because the nervous system is registering safety. That's usually the bottom line. And we are going to go to the last two steps. So I want to pause here and point something out because it's a teachable moment for all of us. The feeling, for those of us who are in our heads a lot, so I always point this out. The brain does not feel. It's not a feeling apparatus. It's like a computer, right? It's an analytical piece of hardware. No disrespect to our brains. Well, when we drop from the neck down and actually feel what's being offered from our own love, from the nourishment of spirit, when we feel that, the body registers it, the nervous system registers it, and that is when the mind is more willing to let go because it registers, something else is happening here that feels different. The body takes over in the feeling, and then we have nourishment, spiritual food. And that relaxes everything. And most usually, as human beings, when we're having contact with that, we're out of our heads into our hearts and our bodies. That's when we feel most safe. And when we feel safe, that's where we tap into the eternal abundance that is what we are. We can't not be that abundance because we're all expressions of the divine God spark, as I like to say it. So the same intelligence that has all the universes and galaxies and planets in relationship with each other is the same that's operating and conducting us. How abundant is that, right? And so I have to often remind myself to down here, come down. You can feel, and then all is well again. And I just think that's worth pointing out because as long as we're in human bodies, we're going to encounter that spiral again and again. And I am noticing that I love having time with you, and we have to giddy up here a little bit. So step 6 is action.
Mhm.
Action is demonstrating to ourselves are taking a stand for the guidance we've received and for the nourishment that it brings. And action also tells the universe we're standing up, we're calling on the inner hero to take a stand for that very thing. So, for fun, and because it's the month of imagination, what action do you imagine yourself taking to make a mark, so to speak, a spiritual, energetic mark to stand for yourself, for your abundance? You.
Again, I don't. Nothing particular comes to mind because that is my. I am making that commitment every day. I think it's about my relationship with the present moment, which of course is the only moment, right? As we all know,
Yeah,
to know from here. So yeah, I feel good about the decisions I'm making every day.
yeah,
I do think I'm making daily decisions about that.
yeah.
And
So
going,
your action is a point of focus,
mhm.
right? Because you could be allowing your mind to take you on a ride all over the place with its stories about lack, taking you out of the moment into the past, into the future. And your action is right here, right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Sometimes people perceive action as something that has to be measurable in the world, and action can be that too. Like, well, I'm going to meditate every day at this time, and like we started off, you're a pretty resource to begin with. So it's always curious to work with folks like yourself to see what subtle shifts might there be. So you have internal action happening.
Yeah.
That you already have a good muscle.
To say in another way, I made a commitment. I can't remember what the time frame is. I'll say sometime between 5 and 10 years ago to live with full accountability.
Yes.
So I'm as you're speaking, I'm thinking this is another way of saying all. That word is a simpler way of saying I think everything that we're talking about because, yeah, I am making a decision as best I can to show up every day in
Yeah.
my life, in my relationship, in my work.
Yeah. Yeah. I love full accountability.
Yeah.
Not always comfortable. Oh boy.
Well, it's not always comfortable, but boy, it's a time saver,
Yes, it is.
a big
Yes,
time
it is.
saver. And
Totally.
it just ties in with what I said before of very much perceiving everyone else as a mirror.
Yeah.
So where on earth am I going to go with blame?
Yeah. Right.
There is no blame. It's like, okay, so what is this? What is this to teach me? What am I supposed to walk away from this moment with?
Exactly. Exactly. And what does love want to do? Because that's what we are.
Hmm.
The last step in the hero formula is results. And when we talk about results, there's the result of the internal reinforcing or shift, and then the external of how things show up and manifest. And so we can't really see the external results that are already on their way to you. And because you're already so self-resourced, which I keep saying because I admire that in you, what would you be able to recognize in this moment as an internal result of you just doing these steps for yourself?
I'm happier. I'm happier than I've ever been,
Ooh,
which is, yeah. I just, in the last years, in many moments, in very, very small ways, I'll be doing something and I'll just start laughing out loud.
uh-huh.
And for me, that's the body just, giving sound to the feeling,
Yeah.
stepping outside of the mind and being in the body and being connected to the rest of me and going, yeah, here I am. And isn't this moment right now, not when I get X,
Sure.
isn't this moment right now perfect and delicious and whole and complete and worthy of celebrating and am I ever happy and grateful for that?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the beauty of being. Pure being is enough. We're enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much for playing with me on this and sharing your song and letting us know where we can have more of the beauty that comes forth from your spirit, your shiny spirit. Just
Well,
what
thank you. And I'm excited to be a part of your show and I wish you great success with yours and I look forward to seeing who you play with in the coming episodes. I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, we're just doing 12 shows because Spirit's already telling me something else wants to happen. You know that I started off trying to have a 1-hour variety show. Yep. That's what my person thought was going to be going on. And then a huge learning curve and a shaping of things to have us have this 1.5 hour show that is incorporating what Spirit has taught me through the Hero Formula that's now in my book, Wise Inside. I never had any of that in my mind at all when I started this idea. We'll follow the inspiration of this show for New Thought Media Network. So I don't know exactly what will occur. I have a sneaking sense that 1 hour variety show that I originally was inspired to unfold may be around the corner after these 12 episodes. And certainly you're going to know if that is what happens, because I've got to have you on doing a whole bunch of songs. And I believe we have lovingly threatened to do a concert together at some point too.
Lovingly threatened. I like that.
We lovingly threatened to share joy. I'm going to wrap us up because I think we're in perfect time and we might be a moment over technologically speaking. So thank you again for being here on Gather, Love, Thrive, and let's give some love to New Thought Media Network. Once again, there's a donation link going across the screen, and if you'd like to, I'm going to have you say one more time, Nathan, if you'd like to know more about Nathan, where to find him, we're going to have his website link on the end of this video, but would you just say it for us again?
Sure. It's just my name, nathanaswell.com, NathenAswell.com.
Beautiful. Thank you. And if you'd like to know more about the Hero Formula or partake in my just coming out new book, Wise Inside, you can find more info. Also, there'll be a link at the end at DaneaShantiThrive.live. And meanwhile, love and blessings to all. And we'll see you next time.